They look like ponies, but they're actually full grown. And they draw these carts. And so you get on the horse cart, and you go off down the road, and you go across the Jamuna River, and you're in Vrindavan. And Vrindavan is even better than Mathura. Vrindavan is the heart of Mathura. And Vrindavan, of course, is where the Lord Krishna appeared, and he demonstrated his youthful pastimes there. And the best of all places in Vrindavan is the Rasa Leela arena. The Rasa dance was performed at Sevakunj. And then, even better than that, is Govardhan, because Govardhan is where the Lord performed many confidential pastimes. Govardhan Hill used to be very tall. Now it's just a small hill. Why? Because everybody from all over India came there and took away one stone to worship, because all those places were touched by the Lord's lotus feet. And so, if you go there today, Govardhan is just a small little hill. And what happened? Well, it's in pieces all over India. And still better than Govardhan, at the foot of Govardhan, is Shyamakund and Radhakund. Shyamakund is Krishna's bathing place, and Radhakund is Radharani's bathing place. And of the two of them, Radhakund is even better than Shyamakund. Why is that? Because Srimati Radharani is the internal pleasure potency of Krishna. And if you want to become a pure devotee of Krishna, there's no better way than to worship Radharani. Anyone, it's given in the scriptures that anyone who bathes or even sees Radhakund, they develop prema for Krishna. What to speak of one who takes water from the Radhakund and puts it on his head, or puts mud on as tilak? This person is certainly going back to Godhead. That's the power, that's the potency of Radhakund. So we should be very anxious, actually, to go to Radhakund. If we don't go anywhere else on pilgrimage in India, we should go to Radhakund. It's the most important place. And we have to be very careful not to offend the Kunda. Recently, I think a few months ago, they did a big cleanup of Radhakund. And they drained the Kund with pumps. And it was so full of mud, the pumps kept getting stuck. So they had to pump out all this mud. I don't know where they would put it, maybe in the Jamuna. And then you can see when it was empty at the very bottom of Radhakund, which is a big, big lake, there's a tiny little hole, about 10 meters square. And that's the actual original Radhakund. It was excavated by Lord Chaitanya himself. Because when Lord Chaitanya came, at that time, the pastime places of Krishna had almost disappeared. You see? So he had to reveal where the actual location of Radhakund was. And practically it had become just a little mud puddle. So he had his disciples Rupa and Sanatana Goswami excavate the original Radhakund, given that place. And then gradually a whole much bigger kund was built up around it. You know, there's always dust coming from outer space. And the surface of the earth is actually building up more and more all the time. Ask any archaeologist. They'll tell you, to find the older places, you have to dig down quite a ways because there's constantly dust falling on the earth and building it up. So this original Radhakund is, I don't know, maybe 10 meters below the current surface of the earth. And then they have built up like a big pond around it with steps on the sides made of stone. And then they allow that to fill up with water again. And then, so the kund will be all nice and clean the next time we go to India. So that's definitely one of the things we have on our agenda, is to go to Radhakund one more time. And Govardhan. And very auspicious is to circumambulate Govardhan and the kundas, Radhakund and Shyamakund. Because these are where the most intimate, most confidential, most ecstatic pastimes of the Lord took place. And these pastimes are going on eternally in the spiritual world. But Krishna displays them only for a short time when he comes to this planet, so that people in general can understand what the spiritual world is all about. But these pastimes are so confidential that actually outside of Vrindavan, until Lord Chaitanya came and displayed all these pastimes for everyone to see, they were actually unknown. Nobody really knew what went on there. And there were rumors and like that, and some very vague kind of descriptions in the scriptures. But when Lord Chaitanya appeared, it's described in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, he broke open the storehouse of love of God and began to distribute it to everyone, whether or not they had any qualifications. This is Lord Chaitanya's mood. So Lord Chaitanya revealed these confidential pastimes by enacting them or reenacting them with his own devotees. So they would go out on the street and do kirtan and do ecstatic dancing, and in this way they revealed what the flavor of the Lord's pastimes in Vrindavan. Up until then, nobody actually knew. And they were getting all deviated into mystic yoga and silent meditation and all this dry philosophy, impersonalism and like that. So thanks to Lord Chaitanya, we were saved from the impersonalist yogis and people who are simply following the external directions of the Vedas, but they don't really know the meaning. They don't really know the purpose of the Vedas. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya has revealed the actual purpose, the actual nectar of the Vedas. And we're so fortunate to be situated in his disciplic lineage. So now we're on the verge of going back to India, going back to the place where Krishna revealed his eternal pastimes and establishing some kind of community there. And I think the way it looks, because of the world's financial situation, that we won't buy land right away, because land prices are very much artificially inflated right now, all over the world. Probably what we'll do is that we will stay for some time and travel around and get to know current conditions in India. And we'll also establish some preaching, some food distribution, especially prasadam distribution, in some village place there. And we'll get to know the people, we'll get to know the conditions, we'll make alliances, and apparently everyone there is eager to meet us. So we're going to have to, like, you know, be cautious about how we spend our time, because not too much time to waste. There's a lot that needs to be done. And when we get there, we'll have to do a lot of business and so forth. But actually, I'm finding out a lot of it can be done online now. Last time I was in India, it was before the internet had become very powerful. And everything still had to be done, you know, by hand and on paper and with stamps and, you know, the way business is done in most third world countries. But now India has computerized quite a bit, and almost anything that you want to do can be done online. That's very interesting. So we may be able to do a lot before we even go to India. I would like to open this up now for questions. For how many people we have signed up? Ah, very good. So try to keep the questions on topic. And the topic is our community, our process of devotional service, especially the conjugal love pastimes that were revealed at Vrindavan, how we can develop our Sangha, what are the next stages of our worldwide mission, our preaching mission, our new site, the community site, and similar questions like that. Are there any questions so far?
There's a new visitor who has a question.
Get the microphone.
Not exactly related, but
Okay, well, that'll get us started while we're waiting for more questions.